Hey guys, welcome to the Talking Cleary podcast. Unfortunately, Mitch's camera isn't working. So what you're about to see is just a full 35-minute or so of me. Hope you guys enjoy, and everything will be back to normal next week. Sorry for the issues. Cheers.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Talking Cleary podcast, mate. Episode 11.
11 at 11, mate.
Believe it or not, episode 11. Who would have thought we'd be here, eh?
Who knew?
And guess what?
We still never lost.
Still never lost.
11 of 11. 11 straight. Well, no.
No,
that can't be right,
I think
'cause
it's
we've had
9.
buys.
It's 9 straight, but yeah 11 podcasts, which is wild. You've only been at 10, but mate, I just want to say good morning. For any of you who don't know, Flaxxy gets up at 4 p.m. So he's obviously a very busy man at the moment.
Overnight,
trying to get onto him all day, and he rings me back at 4 o'clock and says, "Sorry, mate, I just woke up." Jesus, I've worked a full day. What's doing?
Mate, look, it's my Sunday today, so, take the most of it, get a good sleep in.
Treat the body like an amusement park, eh?
Mate, treating the body, mate, I'm here. I was here. We're set up. We're doing good. And, look, yeah, I did sleep in, but, people that watch my stuff, I was up till 5 a.m. streaming because that's what...
it was 6:30 earlier.
Well, no, that was the night before. The audience requires it, and so...
You're a man of the people,
mate, I'm a man of the people.
What time did you stop doing star jumps?
4:30.
Did you actually?
I was doing star jumps at like 4:30 in the morning. It was fucked.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd your push-ups go?
Oh, they weren't good,
How is
I'm
the
not, there's no strain on the shoulders anymore.
Okay, so you're not injured anymore.
We've been cleared by the doctor.
Okay,
So
how's the girlfriend?
we move on.
No, come on. How is she?
Mate, let's move on.
Give the listeners a
Mate,
bit of insight
mate,
into
look,
Love Life. We're playing
with Love Life?
One of our segments is Love Island with Flaxxy.
It's literally not on the paper, so we move on. So he said if he wanted it to be on the episode, it would be on the paper. So
be careful what you wish for. It'll be on there next week.
Oh, I edit it. I can take it out.
Anyway, mate, take the stage. Everyone's least favourite segment, Flaxxy's fan mail. Let's go.
Mate.
And mate, you know what? Before we start, super proud of you. This is the first week I haven't had to prompt you for this.
No.
So well done.
Let's be honest. Last week he wouldn't have had to prompt me, but he did it in the middle of a game. Like, come on, mate. You wait till after the game.
I sent it to you at 6 o'clock.
Mate.
And you hadn't done it yet.
6 o'clock. You hadn't sent it to me at 6 o'clock. You sent it to me halfway through the second half. Anyway,
Sorry,
we go
5:54. Sorry.
Flaxxy's fan mail. So, look, we have a few questions from a few people, and shout out to my dad. We've got a question from him, so I'll get
Thank
Mitch
you, David.
Yes, David Flaxman. We love him. Sorry, first question. Here we go. Can the Panthers... This is kind of a mix with my dad, so I might actually skip that one altogether. Let's go to the next one. What is your...
Hang on, call out Aggie Boy. He always
Shout out to Aggie Boy. Shout
week.
out to Aggie Boy for the question. But
Every
this
week.
sort of integrates into my dad's question, so I'll integrate both of them. So, but for the second question, thoughts on the three-team trade? Schneider's leaving the Panthers. Cog is coming in. What are your thoughts?
Love it.
Love it?
Cogs was awesome for us in 2023, and I don't think we win the comp without him that year. He was outstanding. I think it's an opportunity now for Snyder to go to the Dolphins and be that backup half there, and potentially make a case to go play 6 up there as Cody gets a bit older, because I think he's 32 or 33, Cody Nicarima. So
How's Brad? He's not.
No, he'd be mid-20s, I think. Yeah, so I don't actually know. But yeah, be a good opportunity for him there. It's funny, the Dogs have just signed another Penrith junior in Sean O'Sullivan. So, it makes them now 1-30, all Penrith plus the coaching staff and the CEO. So good to see they're sticking it to their, pathways system as they've got sort of going on. But yeah, no, I think it's a great signing for us.
Do you reckon we've signed him for less?
A great depth signing. Yeah, he'll be on less. And he'll be on... But I think it's also a good opportunity to it'll be a bit of a hybrid. So it might give Mitch Kenny a little bit more minutes off the field, but then it also might allow Mitch to play a bit more in the middle. So because I think he'll play a little bit of a bench hooker role as well. So mate, I think it's a great depth signing.
Yeah, beautiful. Second question we got. This is by Brock. Shout out to Brock. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys trainer incident? Now, I made a video discussing this. I wasn't quite happy with it. As much as...
Who cares?
Who cares? First of all, who cares about the Panthers one?
Is this the Brock that's always in your
This is the
TikTok?
Brock that's in the stream. So
Sorry, I'll answer it then.
no. So we'll both go. So what are your thoughts on the Cowboys trainer incident? Look, I said in my video that I just want the minimum of what we got. We got punished $50,000 fine and a 5-game suspension. If they give him that, I'm happy with it. As with our situation, Jaden Campbell can kick the ball again. There is a opportunity for him to reset himself and kick the ball again. And Jaden Campbell actually came out and said this, he should, he had another opportunity. With the situation that happened in the Cowboys game, it was live play. You can't replay that, and obviously it might have been by accident. It might have not been. Look, we'll never know. But the fact is that he's interrupted a play, that has then hindered the Parramatta Eels potentially scoring a try. Now, they may have not scored a try if he was never there.
Cowboys had the ball, though.
Cowboys, yeah, but there was a shocking pass that actually went behind. I don't know who picked up the ball, but it actually went behind the player that was meant to get the ball. So there was an opportunity for Parramatta to come in. Josh Adokar was running at full speed. He could have picked up that ball and scored a try, but then it's bounced off the trainer, gone forward. So technically an offside position, and then have been able to get the ball back. So I feel like, in my opinion, look, at the end of the day, the trainer, I don't think should have been there. That trainer should only be out there when there's an injury on the field, and there was no injury on the field. And
that's not the rule.
Yeah, for the orange trainer. For the blue trainer, it's first tackle. So the blue trainer could have been out there because it was first tackle. But the orange trainer can only be out there when there's injuries or there's something wrong with a player.
So why was he on the field then?
Which is the question. Why was he on the field? Why was he in? He should have never been in that position.
I understand what you're saying.
And that's my thoughts.
I think you're carrying on over a bit of nothing. We got the book thrown at us, fair enough, whatever.
I think the same should happen, though.
It wasn't a good look. I don't think, from what I saw, I didn't think Adokar was going to score. I think the Cowboys were just going to get the ball. But, was it, right? Probably not. But, fuck, let's move on. Who cares? I'm sick of talking about trainers.
Yeah, I just think, as a Panthers fan, I think I'm just looking at...
Mate,
I want consistency.
If we hadn't won 4 comps in a row, we wouldn't have got $50,000.
Yeah.
They don't want to see us win another one. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just look at some of the ways the games on the weekend were refereed. You'll understand follow the money.
So, yeah. And then the third question by Father Flaxman, and I'm also integrating Aggie Boys into here. So this is what my dad said. This is a question for us to discuss. So, how long do you believe Penrith can remain up and maintain the energy this season? Coming from the bottom to charge towards the top 4 requires a lot of energy week on week, and Penrith have poured a lot of energy into the past 3 months. Do you fear a drop-off? And how does Ivan minimise the risk of a bubble bursting this close to finals? That's the my dad, because he explained that question to me again today. He was like, with Parramatta in 2009, they had that fairy tale run, which was, I believe it was a bit earlier than our run, or maybe around the same time. But they were able to make it to the finals, obviously with what happened with the Storm and Salary Cup.
They finished 8th.
They finished 8th. But in terms of their bubble popped in the grand final, obviously with the salary cap, there's a bit of an asterisk there. But I ask you, do you think we've timed our run really well? Obviously, we're top 4 now.
I think absolutely. We've timed it to perfection. I think you've got to look at the experienced guys we have in the squad. They've done it at such a high level for such a long time. You look at the standards that Nathan and Dylan and Bizza and Isaiah and all that have produced in big games over such a long period of time. I don't think it's an issue. I think we're experienced enough to sort of maneuver those scenarios. And if there's one person I want steering the ship, it's Ivan Cleary. Yeah. My only concern around it all is if Isaiah's injury is worse than...
But it's led on to be.
Yeah, they're letting on. That's my only concern.
Yeah. Because, it's going to be a big test up this next 3 weeks. Obviously, we'll see if Isaiah's in the team list tomorrow. But I think you're right. We've timed our run really, really well. But, we do got a hard run ahead of us. We got the Raiders. We got the Storm. We got the Raiders. We got the Dogs. We do have the Dragons where we might rest some players. But then we go into finals and then we're versing one of those teams again. Because if we stick to the top 4, we're going to be versing one of those teams again. So it's a lot, as my dad said, there's a lot of energy being poured into this team. I think we can do it, but this is going to be the hardest run to a grand final I think we've had. in our 5 years of success.
Nice, mate. All good. Well, congratulations on that. Good job. First time without prompting you. You've nailed it.
Keep asking us questions, guys. Ask him in the comments. Message me. Ask him in the streams or
Go on his TikTok live.
Yeah, and ask him. But then I won't answer him until the next potty. But yeah, keep asking him. We move on to the
next up. We got Flaxxy's Harvey Norman Women's Review, mate. Take the stage,
mate. Look, another loss added to the season. Unfortunately, since round 1, we just haven't been able to sort of recover ourselves. I said this on the day. Look, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. No real, I think I said it last week. Not a lot of teams have come into a league or come into, a competition and then had success straight off the bat. There's a lot of lessons we need to learn. There's a lot of hoops we need to jump through, and that's just what's happening with us this week. We lost. We didn't score a try this week. It was the first time we hadn't scored a try in our inaugural season, so it did suck there. I did think the calls were a bit against us this week. There was a few calls there was a 2-on-1 strip, blatant 2-on-1 strip that they scored off, and so realistically, I think the score should be 14-0, which looks a bit better on our end. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed in the refereeing in that game. But the girls, they showed great effort. Georgia Edwards, she was in the halfback position. She absolutely killed it. She was putting up kicks that I think Nathan would be putting up. She was playing really, really well. There was a few nice placed kicks. There was a kick. Can't remember if it was the first half or the second half, but she put it and it was like, you think it's going to go dead ball line, but it was perfectly placed. And we ended up getting a set back off it, but unfortunately we just couldn't score off it. And I think what we need to learn, obviously people keep messaging me. They're going, it's the first season. You've got to let it grow. And I am. I would love to let it grow. And I'm just thinking as a fan, I just want to see, look, what can we do better? Man, we just need to work on our attack. I think our defense is fine. But as I said before, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going to win a grand final in the first season. It would be great to. It'd be fucking awesome to. But, we got to learn the lessons. We got to jump the hoops just like every other team that came before us. And yeah, that's my thoughts. And hopefully we get a win next week.
Alrighty, mates. Now up to the nuts and bolts, the meat of our podcast, the Riff Report. So, our game review versus the Knights. So, from my point of view, mate, it's not what we did. We obviously beat a bottom 8 team pretty convincingly, but it's not what we sort of did. It's how we did it. I think it was just a super impressive performance. The look in number 7's eye right now is making me very excited. He looks like he's primed for another big run into the finals, which is super exciting. As I said, it's not beating a bottom 8 team. It's none of that. It's more the way we played. Absolutely put them to the sword. Another thing that's really exciting me is the number 6, and every single week he's just getting better and better. And I think he was incredible in this game again. If that stayed dry, we probably could have put 70 or 80 on him. And you know what? The Knights, for a big part of this year, they might even still had the best defensive record in the comp. So it's pretty wild that a team that they just can't attack, obviously, but defensively they're such a strong outfit, and that's not necessarily. I know they're missing players and different things, and I'm not, beating my chest about beating the Knights, but it's more just the way we did it was just a full statement. We've really, really made a bit of a statement this last little bit.
Well, what you said there, they're one of the better defensive teams, but even to us, they're a bogey team. I would like to say,
it was a revenge game, and Ivan loves revenge games, so that was I was always pretty confident on this one. Even after we had a few injuries last week, I was like, "There's no way Ivan lets this. He wants this one back.
He wants this one back. They beat us last time. That was a pretty rough game. That one. I think it was our last time we lost as well. Yeah. So it was a very sort of key battle for us. But even in previous years, we've taken them the golden point. We've also. There've been very, very close games where we probably should have pumped them and we won by 6 or won by 12. So it just. Being able to put a big number on them it was just good to see. It was good to see, and especially after last week where we did capitulate after halftime, and they did come back, and I did get a bit of worry after they scored 2 tries in 5 minutes. I was just like, oh no, not again, surely not. Mm-hmm. But we held on, we composed ourselves, and then we ran away with it. So yeah, I was just very happy with the performance with everyone. My key standout is obviously the 4 and the 6, but Lindsay Smith as well, man. I said this last week, I'm saying it again, he's going to be playing for Australia. He will be playing for Australia. Yeah, but he's going to be playing this year for Australia. So, and the fact that he hasn't been picked for Origin this year, he should be a lookout for next year.
Who in the world, I don't reckon there's a person in the world that would have Max King over him. I don't even reckon Serraldo would. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Like, honestly.
I don't know, but...
You've got a bloke who's soft as butter, or you got a bloke that plays like Isaiah 2.0.
Mate, and you made a good point out last week, and I'm going to reiterate it, mate.
With a wig on.
No, but with what you said, mate, when Yo's not playing, mate, it just looks so seamless. It looks like he's still there and with a wig on. So... Mate, I was very happy with the performance.
There was Liam Henry defensively in this game was outstanding. So we haven't really shouted him out much this year, but I thought he had an absolute game. Which he was jamming blokes in the middle, and I think he would have tapped. Him or Kenny would have tapped the tackle count, but yeah, he was absolutely jamming blokes in the middle, which was crazy. Obviously Bizza just doing his thing, just. Business as usual, press play, watch Bizza run for the most meters in the game, no matter what, every single week. Have Dylan just behind him the whole way through. But, yeah, I think Bizza once again was incredible. Like that game.
I think everyone deserves their flowers this game. Even
sure.
Dylan, bro, look, he had his war paint face on,
How good was that?
Well, show me your war face. That's what I saw from it. He just had the mud. He did not give a shit. And, mate, I'm just loving the sort of mongrel this team is now getting, and going back to what my dad said, can we hold on? I think we're not peaking yet, but we're getting to the top, and we're gonna now. The big litmus test is what's gonna be the next 3 weeks, and
yeah, for sure.
I think if we dominate the next 3 weeks, everyone's gonna be shivering.
The NRL won't let it happen because it'll just there will literally be. We won't get any rub of the green these next 3 weeks. Guaranteed. They don't want us to win a fifth.
No.
There's absolutely no chance.
No way.
But
half a decade, imagine that.
Yeah, it's wild. But I think both centers, how good were they? I give Casey it every single week. He's, you obviously bag him. And as I tell you all the time, we don't bag players on this podcast. I don't bag
players, man. I don't. Look, I stand by what I said earlier in the season.
You were completely wrong.
And I wasn't completely wrong. What happened? He went down to reserve.
About this again. Casey, outstanding, mate. You're an absolute freak. Isaac Tungo had a game as well, one of his best games of the season. I want to have a chat about, because we didn't actually talk about this player last week, but the pass he threw to Nathan last week, we didn't even bring up. And I think Mitch Kenny is the most underrated player in the comp.
Mate, I said originally at the beginning of the year that he could be a State of Origin 9. I think he's in line to be a State of Origin 9 for the Blues at one point in his career.
I think Brayley might have jumped him recently, but in terms of consistency, the work he's done in the middle over a big period, and that role he plays is so important. You've got to be fine. You saw even.
Well, he tops our tackle count pretty much every week.
Absolutely, but you even saw Mitch Moses on the weekend in the Para game blowing up at his hooker. And, Talon Silva would be getting paid more than Mitch Kenny.
Talon Silva's got to be fucking shitting himself after that game. That's a game to forget.
Yeah, he's been getting paid more than Mitch Kenny. And you saw, the standard he's delivering to, the value for money we're getting out of Mitch Kenny is wild.
Yeah, so, he deserves his flowers. As I said, he tops the tackle count pretty much every week. If not, he's second or third. And, we didn't give him his flowers on his pass last week because that was a 20-meter pass. That was a tough pass.
And it was accurate. Yeah, it was on the money too. So good. So yeah, he's as I said, we haven't really spoke about him much, but yeah, I think he's been outstanding. In terms of that, yeah, I think that's pretty much us. Ice had another good game. He was really good.
Yeah, everyone's clicking. Everything's just clicking into place. Everyone that's playing well is everyone's we've leveled ourselves up. We're now a different caliber of team. I don't recognise the team from round 12. I don't recognise the team at the beginning of the year where we were losing 5 straight in a row and everyone was going around saying, hey, there's your 5, Pete. Like, I don't recognise that team anymore. We're a completely different team, and players that, a lot of people looked at the beginning of the season were like, what were they going to be? And me too. I was the same with Casey. I will happily say that.
You were wrong.
Are now proving me wrong. And I love being proven wrong because it means that we're doing, if I'm doubting the team and they're doing great, that means they're proving me wrong, and I love that. So, I'm just happy with it. And as you said, this next 3 weeks is going to be a real test for us. So...
Yeah, for sure. We can sort of get to that now. I guess that litmus test over the next couple of weeks. I think this week's a big one.
Storm's definitely a big one.
The Storm for me, I can't remember. I think I was talking about this today, but the thing with the Storm is everyone's now kind of at the point where they're starting to potentially write them off. I think it's they've had injuries and, they probably haven't necessarily performed at that top level. I think if they can put all the pieces together, they're a team that definitely scares me. Like I said, they've just got players like Munster and...
Jerome Hughes is out, and I would arguably put him as their best player.
But in terms of big games, you've got people like Munster and Pappenhausen and stuff like that they can turn it on. So yeah, this week I think is a massive, massive test for us. Next week's going to be even bigger coming into Canberra off a bye. If you bank 1 loss and you could potentially bank 2, and then it becomes a habit, and you could get caned by the ref and lose 3. So there's an absolute... I think it's a very important 3 weeks, but I think no one knows that more than the team and than Ivan. So
I was going to say, what's your realistic... So, of the next 3 games, what's your realistic...
I reckon we win all 3.
We win all 3?
Yeah.
I think that's the case as well. I think this week's going to be big for us because it's actually our last home game at CommBank. So, it's got a bit of sort of noise around it where it's okay, this is our last time here. Let's go out and show it. And I think it actually helps us, the next 2 weeks, because we have our last home game here, and then we actually have our last home game. It's at Mudgee, but it's, for us, it's, we're a big country club. We do Bathurst every year. I think this is going to be big for us in terms of being out in the country. It's a neutral home ground, but I think it will be big for us as a showing. I think the one I'm worried about is against the Dogs. Being, it's at a core stadium, which is basically our 3rd home ground at this point, being there every grand final. And, I just wish it wasn't on a Thursday or Friday night, whenever it is, because it deserves a 60,000 crowd, and it's not going to get it. So
is it it's Friday night?
I think, yeah, it's
Friday night.
But it should be. It should be a Saturday 5:30. The Dogs Panthers game.
That's a Thursday night.
Thursday night. That's even worse.
Are we streaming it in here?
I'm going to the game.
Can't stream it here. If you go, Mitch, I'll go.
All right, deal.
We'll all go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, sweet.
Oh, sweet. That's... I was going anyway. Go fuck yourself. So, here we go.
Me, Mitch, and Crow will go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go on your own.
I know who and what I am.
Oh, my... Nah, but... Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I think the first 2 games are important games for us to where we'll show up. I think we'll show up regardless, but I think we'll step up our game for the next 2 games. But the Dogs one is where it could go either way. And, against them earlier this year, we obviously weren't at our best form yet. If they were if we played the team we played last week, then I think we'd put more on them. But yeah, I think the Dogs game's the one that worries me the most out of those 3. So
yeah, okay. Is that because of our next point? Is that because of the inconsistency in the way the games are being reffed at the moment?
It could be. I just think, out of all games we've had this year where we've sort of been in form, that's the game that kind of...
No way, it's the Raiders one to me.
I think the Raiders one's 50-50 because you just don't know what's going to come out of that game.
So you think we're less of a chance than 50-50 against the Dogs?
Well, you have to add the ref into it, so it's 14 against 13. And
yeah, but we've got number 7.
Yeah, true. So, I don't know. I think...
Who do you support again, Para?
Fuck off.
Jeez, you're a low fan.
Mate, the Raiders game, why I'm more confident on the Raiders game is because it's still a home game to us, and it's a country home game to us, and we really bleed for our country.
You just said Core Stadium's our 3rd home ground.
Yeah,
our
3rd
home finals there.
Yeah, but then you have to... Leave me alone, bruh. I
agree with Flax.
I think, see, Fred's agreeing with me. That's crazy.
Oh, really?
That's a
Because
first.
you're Fred's mouthpiece.
Can we take a photo? Shut the fuck up. Let's move on. I think the inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Mate,
like,
we've always had this. This isn't like a new point in the game. It gets highlighted when it happens on and on and on. It's been inconsistent. The bunker's been inconsistent all year. The ref's been inconsistent all year. At this point, you just got to live with it, which sucks because we'd love consistency in our game. We'd love consistency with, fines that refs are getting, that trainers are getting. We'd love consistency.
Going back to the trainer thing, who cares? Like, move on. I'm more concerned about, one game getting refed. And so for the last 4 years, regardless of if you ducked your head, if you slipped anything and hit someone on the knee and whatever, you got hit in the head, it's been a penalty. Yet on the weekend, they were calling, you ducked into it, so it's not a penalty. Like, that has not been a rule. I know that they ducked in. I agree with the call, but that's not the rule. So we need consistency in how the games are refereed. Like, that was ridiculous, some of those, you ducked into it. Like, what are we even talking about? And then, in the Dogs-Warriors game, when Burton ran behind Kurt Mann and they got a penalty, fucking spare me. I agree. I don't agree with Todd Payton because I think Mitch Moses took a dive, absolutely.
It's still a rule.
It was a rule.
It should have never been called a try live.
Absolutely not. But if you want to be consistent for the weekend, then give the Cowboys a penalty because he tackled the guy. He made a defensive decision.
Yeah.
Tackled a guy without the ball. That's how inconsistent the referees been. That's the only thing that genuinely concerns me about this year is how the games are being refereed.
I think the issue comes down to the point where referees are too scared to make a call. Like we saw that in the Parramatta game. That should never have been called a try live. Never.
But if you're being consistent by the weekend.
Yeah, but if you're being consistent, but we're not looking for consistency. Well, we are looking for consistency.
Yes,
we're looking for them to follow the rules and be consistent to the rules. That's what we're looking for. Unfortunately, when someone goes against the grain and then calls a penalty when it shouldn't be a penalty, that we can't just be consistent. Just because one person does the wrong thing doesn't mean we call it a wrong thing on another game. It should be called the right way every time. So we're looking for consistency within the rules, which is not what's happening. Okay. And look, it comes down to the on-field referee. We're seeing the on-field referees either too scared to make a call or making the blatant wrong call and letting the bunker deal with it because they just don't want to. You're the on-field referee. Your job is to get paid to ref the game to the rules. And we're not seeing that. We haven't seen that for a long time, and I don't know if we'll ever see that, to be honest. And it's crazy to me that we have however many cameras in a stadium and we're still getting the wrong calls with the bunker.
The other thing as well, and this is even talking about calls we got on the weekend, right? There was times when Nathan got hit after he kicked, which I agree, by the rule book, is a penalty. But then there was other games this weekend where kickers were getting hit and they weren't calling a penalty. Yeah. So it's and as I said, I'm calling out the player I love more in the world than anything, Nathan Cleary. I'm calling that out and saying that is the example. He was getting penalties when he was getting hit after he kicked, but there was other games when other kickers were kicking and not getting it. We need consistency around what the penalty is or what it's not. Because as I said, those ones where you said you ducked your head and got hit in the head, Leka Helasima went off for a HIA.
And obviously you're going to get a level of human error. It's always going to happen. But that's why we have a bunker with that many cameras and that many replays so we can look at it. And yeah, it's ridiculous the amount of inconsistency we have. Because even with Talon Da Silva, there was, I believe, he went down, but he actually got hit in the head. And to the rules, it would be a penalty. But he just, he milked it. And then the ref said, no, he's milking it. So, but if you looked at the bunker and the replay of that, it should have been a penalty because he hit him in the head. So, as I said, I don't think we'll find consistency in a long time. They can improve themselves, but in total, for the game, you got to deal with it. You take the calls when you can get them, and if you don't get them, then just complain.
Yeah, cool.
So,
all good. Key matchups this weekend. There's a couple of big games.
Mate.
I'm
telling you, this last sort of
stint,
last 4
They've
rounds.
done it so that people don't rest players and stuff.
Yeah,
so,
the last 4 rounds
the Warriors
are really
have turned into a must-win game against the Dragons.
We versus the Storm.
I've got a massive scoop for you. I don't know how true it is. Jet Cleary debut.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be awesome to see. Would love to see that then.
Imagine that. Imagine we play him in the finals.
That would be insane. Oh, bro, that's cinema. Absolute cinema, bro.
Written.
But you're right. This week's actually a really
Yeah,
good week.
yeah,
You got Roosters in a must-win game against the Dogs.
And they're in form.
And the Dogs, they're...
Mate, it turns into a must-win game for the Sharks against the Titans. Plus, the Titans need a win to avoid the spoon.
Yeah.
Like Battle of Brisbane.
Broncos versus Dolphins. Dolphins still trying to make the 8. Broncos to stay in the 8. Well, they're 8th now, but
we got another spoon bowl.
Another spoon bowl in the Eels versus Rabbitohs, but I do think the Eels will win that one. And then even the Manly Seagulls and Tigers,
Manly have got to win.
Tigers are mathematically still possible to win. I don't think
they found a little bit of form as well.
But, Manly, this is a great week of rugby league. And then you end off with Cowboys and Knights, which no one really gives a shit about. So
yeah, I might even buy Rugby League Live 26 and play instead of watching that.
Yeah, no. But every other game, this could be week of the round. And then you got next week's where you have us versus Raiders, Dogs versus Storm.
Yeah, there's some good games coming
Very
up,
good
mate.
games coming out. I'm very keen. This is where rugby league gets exciting.
Absolutely.
You get into the tail end of the year. We're very keen to see it. So...
Yeah, sure. Man. All right, mate. Well done. We all good? All done?
Mate,
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in again.
It's a shorter episode this week.
Episode 11 of Talking Cleary. Who would have thought we would have made it this far?
Who knows?
Please keep your questions coming to Flaxxy.
We're still undefeated.
We'll answer them, and we'll see you next week when we still never lost. Thank you.